Well, Tata Martino has been fired by Inter Miami. Reports are from Tom Bogert that the Argentine manager will no longer continue leading this team. Well, this has been a crazy day. I wasn't expecting the news to happen this quick. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to MLS Moves. Please make sure you like this stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are less than 400. I think we're 380 subscribers away from 5,000, which we're going to hit by MLS Cup final day. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you not only miss any of my you don't miss any of my videos, but you don't miss any of these emergency live streams. Wow, this is crazy. I can't believe they did it this quick. Honestly, I was starting to get a little bit skeptical because it's been almost 2 weeks since they lost to Atlanta United in the first round, and Tata Martino obviously has a good relationship with Messi and a couple of the Barca guys and Jorge Mas, and he has a good relationship with David Beckham. But after you lose like this, there has to be consequences. We're talking about a team that some of you think broke the rules, but I don't think that happened. But some of you think they broke the rules in favor of helping them win the MLS Cup in 2024. And they had the best record in Major League Soccer. They broke the MLS points record with 74 points this season. They were able to win when everybody was missing for Copa America in the beginning of the summer. They were still able to win and break the record, and everything looked good. Tata Martino is likely to be the MLS Coach of the Year, but when push comes to shove, or when the most important part of the season comes up, he failed immensely. He failed. We're talking about a team that has Messi, Suarez, Busquets, Jordi Alba. They signed Toto Alvarez. They paid $9 million for him, which was a player that Tata Martino scouted himself. Diego Gomez, a player that's a stud that's going to be moving to Brighton most likely after the season and cost $18 million for Brighton. Matias Rojas, probably one of the most underrated signings in the league this offseason. All these good players. And they got completely embarrassed in the MLS Cup playoffs. And here's the thing. When you have a single elimination game, which is what's going to happen in the next round, anything can happen. You could lose. You could have a bad game. It's more unpredictable. But Inter Miami had 3 games to wrap this series up. 3 matches. And they came up short. They lost to an Atlanta United team, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, lost to an Atlanta United team who sold their 3 best players. They sold Giorgio Shakamakis. They sold Thiago Almada, Messi's international teammate. They sold Caleb Wiley. And they fired their coach in Gonzalo Pineda in the beginning of the summer. And a team that was, I've said before, a team that was packing it up, essentially conceding the rest of the season and moving on to the 2025 season, had an interim manager and all their best players were gone. Inter Miami lost to a team like that. There was no way that he was going to keep his job, in my opinion, because it's unacceptable. And in a few minutes, we'll talk about who we think is going to replace him, and I'll be curious to see what you guys think about that. We got a lot of comments. Tata's the worst for Messi's career. Yeah, I mean, he's never won. We'll share this tab in his Wikipedia page. I don't even know if you guys can see this, but he hasn't really. I don't think he's ever won a championship when him and Messi have been together. He didn't win the league at Barca in his 1 year there. Didn't win the Champions League, obviously. He didn't win any notable trophies that I'm aware of when he was the Argentine manager. He was the runner-up in Copa America in 15 and 16. He was a huge disappointment. And, it was honestly the perfect hiring. I'm sure we'll have a lot of content about this, but it was the perfect hiring at the time because you're getting a manager who can manage the egos between all these Barca guys, has coached Messi before, so they have a relationship. Now, some people were curious if they had a good relationship because, like I mentioned before, that their times at Argentina and Barca didn't necessarily end in the best of terms. There's people thinking they might have beef, but I don't think they do. But they had a guy who has coached the Barcelona before, manager of egos, coached Messi before, and won an MLS when he won an MLS Cup in 2018 with Atlanta United. So it was the perfect hiring at the time, but I was curious, are we going to see more of Atlanta United Tata Martino, or are we going to see more of Mexican national team manager Tata Martino? And we saw, honestly, good spurts, but we saw more of the Mexican national team Tata Martino. And they came up short and they move off of him. He will finish with he's in all competitions. He coached 67 matches for Inter Miami, 35 wins, 16 draws, 16 losses, 52% win percentage. Not good enough. He finished with a worse win percentage than he had at Atlanta United. He had a 54% win percentage at Inter Miami or at Atlanta United. It's unacceptable. Okay, says Timothy Park says Tata resigned. He wasn't fired. Yeah, but I haven't seen. Last I saw, he was fired, but I think he was forced out. I don't think that they wanted him to continue on. He always resigns. He's never fired, but he caught wind. I don't think he was going to be retained because they want a coach who can come in here and win an MLS Cup. Messi only has one more guaranteed year with Inter Miami. Only one more year. And they saw what Tata Martino can do. He came up short in the MLS Cup playoffs, and they don't want to risk that happening again. Messi's not guaranteed to be here in 2026. Now, we all think he's going to be, but it's not guaranteed. Let's see. Let's read some comments. Oh, really? Already a new coach and searching place. They had a great season, though. What? This is wild. Kelly Rex says, imagine if Miami could pull Pepe, replace Tata to be the new head coach, that would make a statement for the league. Are you talking about Pep Guardiola? Cringe says they need to hire Pep Guardiola. I think his contract expires January 25th. Pep Guardiola is not going anywhere this season. Maybe the summer he would consider something like this, but I don't think that's going to happen. Alex Jimenez says, I honestly didn't think they were going to fire him. Just a lot of yapping from fans. Wow. Alex, listen, man, this isn't your typical Major League Soccer team. There's a high standard here. They expect this team to perform. And when they do, or when you have these expectations, you have to meet them. Like, they're not going to just let you stay on the job for, however long you want, like Peter Vermees at Sporting Kansas City. Like, you have to win or you will be fired. And that's what happened with Tata Martino. He underperformed. They weren't impressed with what he did. Some of the players that he had asked them to sign, like Toto Alvarez, has been a disaster. Toto Alvarez has been terrible. Can we be honest? He's not been very good. Has he gotten any better in the year he's been at Inter Miami? I don't think he has. I think he's gotten worse. We got a super chat from Adam. He says he left for personal reasons, Tom Bogert said. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think he was forced out. Now, look, I'm not saying I'm just going off of how other things have happened in the past. I think he's left other managerial spots because of personal reasons. I think he got wind he was going to be fired and he left. That's what I think happened. Now, we'll see as more news comes out in the coming weeks. K Busy says Xavi coming. Maybe we'll talk about it in a second. We'll get your thoughts on who you think they should hire. Cringe says, I can see Xavi come over, but he did a terrible job of Barcelona. I don't think we'll talk about that in a minute, but I don't think he did a bad job of Barcelona. I think he did very good with the circumstances. What are the chances New York City FC winning the cup, in your opinion? Not very good, honestly. They have a chance to make it to the final, but I wouldn't count on them winning it this year. Nick Cushing's not a very good manager. Xavi sounds expensive, but would be cool. Here's the thing. I'll hit on this real quick. Tata Martino was the highest paid manager in Major League Soccer. He was making $5 million a year. I don't think money's an issue with this team. The ownership has shown that they're willing to spend whatever it takes to make this a winning organization. So I don't think that money is an issue. I think that they're willing to spend what it takes to get a good manager in here. Now, a manager that, well, I'll save that. I'll save that for a little bit. I'll wait a little bit for that. Unless they bring in Xavi in here, I hate this move. Well, look, I think they have something planned up. I don't think that they would do something or I don't think that they would do anything without having a contingency plan. I believe that there is something they have lined up. They were prepared for this. Atlanta is terrible. We should have never lost that round. Shaking my head. I agree. That was bad. That's why Tata Martino is not here anymore. Has nothing to do with the regular season. Now, look, I know we're going to have an international audience. I know people that are going to be probably from South America, Europe, watching this video. In Major League Soccer, the regular season title doesn't matter. You don't play every team in the league in the regular season. You play the same team 3 or 4 times. That is not the champion of the league. The MLS Cup Playoffs is what dictates the champion of Major League Soccer. And Tata Martino has failed to deliver the ultimate trophy in Major League Soccer. He's only got, I guess you can consider the Supporter Shield a trophy, but he is the only trophy he truly has, I think, is the League's Cup trophy in its first year. So this team expects trophies. It's what they do. Let's see. Tata is the worst. Yeah, I read that earlier. Isaiah Carter, friend of the show, says the collapse begins. Yes, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I look, the coaching search is going to probably be exhaustive, and they're probably going to do a thorough search. And I think they have someone already lined up, or that someone ideally who they would want. We'll just have to see who it is. Bouncing Soul says Coach of the Year. Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if in Major League Soccer there's ever been a Coach of the Year who has been fired before he actually got the award. That'll be interesting to see if that's ever been a thing. Who should New York City FC pick up for the next season? As a coach, I don't know. They'll have options. They maybe pair back up with Ronnie Dyla. Maybe he's free right now. Lost back-to-back 2 Copas. Yes, with Argentina he did. Yeah. Alex Minutes says I'm rooting for New York City FC. To see Jose Mourinho coach it over for everyone. I don't know. Beckham don't play. Yeah, see, I'm telling you, there's this club has a high standard. They're not going to accept losing. They want a coach who's going to win them an MLS Cup. Now, look, if Inter Miami had made it to the MLS Cup final and lost, I think Tata Martino would have kept his job, and I don't think they would have tried to push him out because it is hard to win a final. It is. But the fact they didn't even make it out of the first round, think about this. Apple TV, MLS, Inter Miami, all their eggs put into the Lionel Messi basket. And for him to lose in the first round is very bad for the team, the league, Apple, everyone involved. We knew that there's going to be consequences. Now, look, I don't think that the league was pushing them to fire Tata Martino. And I know Apple, hell, they probably don't even know who Tata Martino is. But I do think that because them being disappointed and saying we're disappointed with the results could have had an impact on this happening. Let's see. Tata left with severance package. Raphael says he was definitely going to be fired if he resigned. If he didn't resign, I'm assuming what you meant. Yeah, I agree. He would have been fired. He was not coming back next year. I mean, I heard rumblings that they were going to move off of him because they were just so disappointed. I heard that Jorge Mas was pissed, and Jorge Mas is going into next year to win the Champions League, to win the Club World Cup. He's wanting to win these trophies, and he didn't think Tata Martino was the guy to do it. Who do you think would be the next head coach? Okay, we'll go ahead and get into this. But before we do, I want to ask you guys this. How surprised are you that Tata Martino was fired? I want a 1 out of 10. 1 through 10. How surprised are you that Tata Martino has been relieved of his duties or resigned, whatever it may be? How surprised 1 through 10 are you that he will no longer be the Inter Miami manager from this point forward? Very curious to see what you guys think about that. I'll be honest, I was not shocked at all. Like I just said, I expected him to be gone. Damian Guzman says 9. Alex Jimenez says 9. Raphael says 1. Mr. says 1. Had to go. D-Life says 5. Unknown Revival says like a 4 or 5. So he's kind of in the middle, like not surprised, but not shocked. He's not surprised, but he also kind of expected to happen. How do we feel about other people's job security in the organization? Busquets, Gressel, and others. Yeah, okay, we'll get into that. We will get into that. You say 3, 5. Okay, let's talk about the coaches first, and then we'll talk about the players. Okay, so I think there's one person that they should hire, that they will hire, and I think it's a no-brainer. I think that Inter Miami need to hire Xavi Hernandez. Xavi obviously has a history with some of these players. He's loyal to the Barca brand as far as style of play. He's played with Messi. They have respect for each other. He's a legend on the pitch. I think he was a good coach I think he was a good coach as well. Now, people are going to say, but Will, Xavi was an absolute failure at Barcelona. And I'll rebuttal that with, was he a failure? We're talking about a team that has no money. They had to take players either on free transfers. They had to take players either on loan. I mean, they're financially hamstrung. They're financially hamstrung right now. And he won the league in 2022, 2023, and he came in second place last year. And he did this with a bunch of financial restrictions. Now, when he took over Barcelona, they were a very broken club. He inherited a very bad situation. He had a 63% win percentage at Barcelona. I don't think that that's bad at all. But he inherited a very bad situation at Barcelona, and he was able to win the league with them. You know, a lot of people thought that Madrid was going to run the league for the next decade because, you know, they had more money, they had better players, they had, you know, Ancelotti, like better situation than what Barcelona and Xavi was. He was able to win with less. Now, Xavi, I thought, was going to get one more year at Barcelona, and obviously they're doing very well. They're doing pretty good this year. I don't think they're struggling, so it wasn't a bad move, but he has proven that because of what he did at Barcelona, he can win with financial restrictions like they had. He can coach Messi, put him in good positions, and, you know, obviously help the team maximize their success. He's a player, or a person and a player, right, that the players will respect because of his name. He's a manager of egos. Nobody in that locker room will disrespect Xavi Hernandez. It won't happen. And they will be able to pay him what it would take in order for him to come coach his team. I don't think that's an issue at all. I think that he would love to coach Miami. Look, he's had other offers. He's turned them down. Coaching Barcelona is like the pinnacle of coaching, right? He's already done that. He coached it in the Qatari League, if I'm not mistaken, Al Sadd, when he played there for a couple of years, and then he took over as a manager. I think that he is got to be the favorite right now, and probably would be the Vegas favorite to be the next Inter Miami manager. And I would give this hire an A+. Now, I think Patrick Vieira would have been another plan, maybe. Now, I know you guys won't like the Patrick Vieira hire, obviously, right? You guys would definitely not be in favor of that. But Patrick Vieira just recently took a job at, I think it's Genoa, I think, in Serie A. He's out of contention. He's not going anywhere. He was the favorite for the Atlanta United job, and he's out of contention for that as well. Maybe maybe he would have been someone that could have done this. They cannot hire an MLS coach. Okay, Jim Curtin is not the guy for this job. He's not a good fit, and it's not that Jim Curtin's a bad coach. I just don't think Jim Curtin is the right coach to coach Messi and the Barca boys, if that makes any sense. Xavi checks all the boxes, and I believe he's the coach that can get this done. And he's got to be the favorite. I would love to know who you guys think maybe is another coach they could hire. I mean, this is a rare circumstance. This is an elite job. This is a team to coach Messi in Miami, the lifestyle, the club, the glimmer, the glam. This is it. And this is going to be a highly paid job. So this is the window is very narrow for this job. And I think that they're going to be very selective, and they're not going to just hire anybody. Now, like I said, I can't think of anybody else that's more perfect for it than Xavi. Let's see. Let's read some comments here. Roller says, highlight MLS moves. Came back from my classes for the day and saw this news. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's see. He was terrible in Barcelona and Argentina, so I'm not surprised. Yeah, he's continuing the trend. I think the embarrassing loss in Monterrey, where he made 0 subs and Beckham and Jorge Mas were in attendance, was the beginning of the end. Possibly. If I can remember one game that I come out of and saw Tata Martino played perfectly, it was the away game at Philadelphia where they received 2 red cards and Tata threw Alfonso and scored. It just wasn't consistent enough. That was his issue. He was never consistent enough. By the way, guys, we got 85 live viewers. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream down below. It helps us out. Also, subscribe to the channel. We are less than 380 subscribers away from 5,000, which we will hit by MLS Cup Final Day. So help us out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of the videos and you never miss any of the live streams, especially the emergency live streams. Mr. says, would be a smart option. No, he's not a perfect manager, but he's still pretty good. And here's the thing, Mr. He is a young manager, right? he's only coached for 5 years. Like, he's still relatively new. And you could really say that it's only been 2.5 years because the Al Sadd managerial stint isn't the same as coaching Barcelona or even in MLS. So he's still really new to the coaching game. And I think he's got a lot of room for growth. Um, Pep Guardiola was very good with Barca in the early days, right? In 2008, when he took over, it took him a while to figure it out. But Pep, I think, in the last 5 years, is the best version of Pep we've seen in managing, right? Being a manager. I think that Xavi still has a lot of room for growth, and I think in Major League Soccer he could get that room for growth, and he could really thrive here. So I think I think he's got to be the favorite. And I don't really think there's anyone else that's even close. There has been other great moments from him, like subbing Campana often for game winners, but the problem is that it's not consistent. Yeah, he's just too inconsistent. It feels like a lot of times he's a day late and a dollar short. Tata out is for the best. Also, you have 70 people here. Crazy. It's been it's a good stream so far. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. The way you talk about MLS Cup makes it sound like you play every team in the league during the playoff. Come on, seriously? No, I mean, I don't know what you're saying about MLS Cup playoffs. I mean, it is the trophy. I mean, the best teams make it, and the winner of the MLS Cup is the champion of the league. That's just how it is, and that's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. I kind of agree, Xavi, not a bad pick. I think it would get people excited. I think the Inter Miami fans, I mean, we're talking about arguably the best midfielder of all time coming back to coach with Messi, played with him. I mean, it feels like a movie. It feels like the script writers are at work, right? That's what it feels like. I mean, I don't know how anyone could be upset with them hiring Xavi. Does Inter Miami sack their other coaches too? Palladini, let's see, Dealer and Palladini don't seem like they have good shot at keeping the jobs. I doubt they will. Xavi and Phil Neville are the favorites. Xavi did a good job in Qatari League. He also won the league with Barca with limited money and gave Yamal debut. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of positives with Xavi. I think there is a lot of upside and room for growth with Xavi as the manager. I'm really excited about the prospects of him taking over this Inter Miami team. Let's see. I also, what players do you think we will get? I probably would say defense is a biggest priority. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the players. Okay, so I made a list of players I think should be on the chopping block or who they will get rid of. Okay, now there's been some players that obviously thrived in the Martino era. Robert Taylor was a player that thrived in the Martino era, and Robert Taylor had a very good Leagues Cup. He had a very good beginning of the season, and then he kind of just stalled out. Campana obviously did really well under Martino. Now Suarez did good, but Suarez would do good under anybody, right? I think the players that will move, right? I talked about earlier some of the players that he scouted. Diego Gomez is leaving. He's going to Brighton. That's happening. I think Leo Campana is going to get traded because it's too expensive to have him as a backup unless MLS rules change. He's going to be sold or traded or whatever. I doubt he'll be back. I think that Sergio Busquets has got to take a pay cut. Now, Xavi's going to want to keep his friend Sergio Busquets because obviously they played over a decade together, but Sergio Busquets is not worth $10 million in today's Major League Soccer. He's just not. It's just a fact. You can't build a team like that in current MLS rules. Toto Alvarez, I think, is going to be loaned out. No one's going to buy him. He costs $10 million for Inter Miami. Nobody's paying that. He's going to probably be loaned back to probably to a team in Argentina to try to develop, and they'll see what happens with him. They're not going to buy David Martinez. They're not going to probably buy Wingett. I think Drake Callender could be gone. This team's going to be completely reshaped because even though it was exciting and it was good and broke the record, the deficiencies were glaring down the stretch. And they're going to have to solidify that back four. That back four has got to be a priority. And ideally, they're going to have a DP spot open, right? Now, Luis Suarez has a player option on his deal, meaning that he decides if he wants to come back next year. He'll probably decline that because Luis Suarez is not going to come back and play for Inter Miami for $1.5 million. Think about this. Luis Suarez made $1.5 million this year, and he scored 20 goals. Sergio Busquets really didn't do that much, and he made 10 million. He made 6-7 times more money than what Sergio Busquets made 6 to 7 times more money than what Luis Suarez did. And goals are valuable, as you know. So Luis Suarez is going to want a payday. There's going to be a lot. This offseason is going to be truly crazy. And also, I will say this too. I think if Xavi does become the manager, that makes it more likely, even though I think it's leaning in that direction, I think it's more likely that Messi does come back in 2026 for Miami because he has a player's option for 2026 to extend his deal. I think if Xavi's the manager, that would likely make him stay a little longer with Inter Miami. And I just think there's going to be a lot of makeup and player movement this offseason. Jorge Mas wants to win the Champions League next year. He wants to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup, is what it's officially called. He wants to go to the Club World Cup. Here's a little bit of insight, right? Jorge Mas is begging Major League Soccer to let him spend some money because he wants to go to the Club World Cup and have Inter Miami compete, prove that they are not only a top league in the world, but he wants to prove that they are a top club in the world, Inter Miami, that is. So he is begging for them to let him spend so he can really make a showing at the Club World Cup, which is being hosted here in the United States next summer or 2025. He will hire a good coach. He will give them the resources they need to build this thing out. And I think there will be some changes. I don't know to what extent. We've talked about this in other videos. I don't know what extent they would be. I don't know to what extent they'll be able to spend more money, but I think something will happen. And that will just help them give more resources to whatever coach they do hire. Xavi will be set up for success. Okay, Xavi would not have lost that 3-game series with the current Miami team constructed. He would not have lost that series. He would not have lost. That was coaching deficiencies by Tata Martino. They would not have lost that series under Xavi Hernandez, in my opinion. Let's read some more comments. They need to get rid of Sergio Busquets. Campana is probably going to San Diego FC. Wouldn't be surprised by that. PK coming back from retirement. Miami fans eating good. Well, hey, that's how it should be. When you're a premier club or you're trying to be, you make premier moves. You got to hold people accountable. What do you think the New York Red Bulls need to do this offseason? They need to add another star. If they had added like a Timo Werner, like they wanted to, or someone like that, I think that they would have had a good chance of winning the MLS Cup because they're already competing and looking really good this season in the MLS Cup or in the playoffs. So I think that they're just maybe a piece away from truly competing. It would have been nice to see them actually add a little bit more to truly go for it. Davey95 says, I think the Inter Miami are cooked. This move will prove to be a mistake and they will never win an MLS Cup. But here's the thing, Davey. They already got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. So what do they have to lose? Tata Martino's proven he can't do it. So they're going to move in a different direction. He can't even get out of the first round. So they're trying to move in a different direction, see if they can hire somebody who can do it. Somebody who can come in here and help them get to their ultimate goal of an MLS Cup playoff victory. PK back from retirement. He said that again. Zizou, I would trust to manage. Yeah, but would he come here? Now, that would be an interesting hire, but I don't know if he'll come back out of retirement. And he's more of a stopgap coach. Like, he'll come out of retirement sporadically and coach Madrid to a Champions League win and then just go back into retirement. That him and Beckham are very close friends. So that could be a dark horse hire. Zidane, that could be a dark horse hire, but I think my money would be on Xavi being the next manager. Whoever comes as coach, he should build the defense than anything else. The one area Miami lacks so badly. Yeah, and goalkeeper. I think Drake Callender has to go. Maybe firing a coach who won your team supporters shield within 2 years is not a good idea. Yeah, but they didn't win the MLS Cup final. That's what matters most. Supporters shield doesn't matter at Major League Soccer as much. It's about the championship, the MLS Cup. I have a feeling a team with a heavy need for a high goal-scoring player such as Houston, Seattle, or Charlotte are going to pick up one of the Miami B-listers like Taylor and Campana. Campana's got some good trade value. I think Campana could probably go for a decent amount of gam and tam. He scored 8 goals or 9 goals off the bench this year, more than some starting strikers in Major League Soccer. 20 other teams, he'd be the starting striker. 20 other teams in Major League Soccer, he would be the starting striker for them. He's just not beating out Luis Suarez. I despise Miami, but firing Tata might have been a dumb idea. I don't think so. I don't think it would. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be proven to be the right choice. If Xavi comes to Inter Miami, then he is going to bring in more Barcelona players. Imagine Rafinha here. Now, that will be interesting to see what they can do. And I think that Xavi has more pull. He has more recruiting weight than Tata Martino for getting certain players. I think that this is going to be a positive for them. They needed somebody to get to build the foundation, which Tata Martino did, and he proven that he can win the championship. And they'll have someone take the mantle and believe it in a better spot than they found it. And I think Xavi can do that. Q Kenny says, imagine Prime sponsor an MLS team that would be that may be cringe. Let's see. Hopefully MLS does not let clubs spend more. Why would you not want that to happen? That would be a great thing. Stephen Perez says, thank God. Now please let them spend money. Yes, please let MLS teams spend money. Let them spend. Even with Xavi, Club World Cup could be a disaster. That is beyond Miami or MLS labeled teams. Yeah, that's why they want to be able to spend more so they can make it more competitive. All right, guys, I'm going to do it for about 5 more minutes. So if you have any more questions, final questions before I wrap it up, fire them this way. We still have quite a bit. Xavi would have lost even the first 2 games. Tata is better, understands MLS. I mean, he didn't understand when it counted most. I mean, he was good in 2018, but he fell short this time. Tata back to Atlanta. Hey, that's interesting, but I don't think so. But that is an interesting point. I think Rob Valentino will be likely to take that job. No way is this real news. Yes, the reporting, it's kind of up in the air what happened. The updated news is that Tata Martino resigned, but I think it was a forced resign. I think that he is likely, he was forced out and they let him resign. Let's see. Do you think Nick Cushing leaves once in New York City FC is knocked out? Yes, I think last I checked, he was the favorite to be the Arsenal women's coach. So I think that's a good chance he will be on his way out. I am a true fan. I'm a season ticket holder. I love the New York Red Bulls. I love my team. Been a fan since 2003. Before Red Bulls, they were named the Metro Stars. Well, good. I'm glad you support your team and you haven't wavered on your support. They can't afford Xavi. Yes, they definitely can. They were paying Tata Martino like $5 million a year. He was the highest paid coach in Major League Soccer history. They definitely could. Why not? What's his name? Came back to help San Jose Earthquakes. I'd say never say someone will stay in retirement. Oh, you're talking about Bruce Arena? Yeah, maybe. What goalkeeper would you like us to get? Just someone who's more consistent. Like Drake Calendar shows potential, but like Ustari, I think would have been better in the playoffs than Calendar, more stable. Just a veteran goalkeeper who can really solidify the back line and just give like a confidence. Like look what Hugo Lloris did. A lot of people thought that Crepeau being traded from LAFC to Portland was a bad move, and they brought in Hugo Lloris, and he helped them. If Maxime Crepeau was the goalkeeper for LAFC, they would not nearly have been as good this year as what they are. I think they desperately need a veteran goalkeeper. Now, De Gea would have been a nice signing, but I can't remember what team he signed for. I think he signed with either a Serie A team or a mid-table La Liga team. I can't remember off the top of my head. Calendar started off great, and then he just got really bad. Yeah, he was really good after Leagues Cup. They got offered a pretty good fee for him, and then he just completely tanked. It was sad to see. He had a lot of promise, and it just never lived up. Rafinha in his prime, no way he leaves Barca. Rafinha to Inter Miami. No, Rafinha is not coming to Inter Miami. Ten Hag might go to Miami. I don't think so. I think they're going to go with Xavi. Xavi would be a phenomenal get for Miami. It would be huge. Yeah, I think it'd get a lot of fans excited. They should take some risk into making MLS a bigger league because the World Cup in 2026 is coming up. I agree. They need to do more to get people interested, casual fans. If MLS lets Miami spend money, then they should let others spend money. Well, I listen, everybody should be able to spend money. Everybody should be able to spend money. Best forwards in MLS, Miami. Worst defense of MLS, again, Miami. The defense spoiling Messi name. I agree. The defense has been terrible. Get rid of Martinez and wing it, and Alvarez for 3 better defenders to help Jordi. Also have Ustari play some time for starting goal. I think he should get a chance to win the starting goalkeeper job this offseason. I 100% think he should. So no salary cap Inter is crooked as much as FIFA. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's no evidence of that, but I understand why people think that. Can we talk about Paul Pogba to Miami? Hey, that could happen now too. Paul Pogba been training in Miami for weeks now, according to Fabrizio Romano. So who knows? That could happen. Depends on who they hire. Now, the only question is, does Paul Pogba hurt this midfield? Could he be the replacement for Diego Gomez in the midfield? To be determined. The only way I would sign Paul Pogba is if Sergio Busquets isn't here anymore, though. Can't have both in the midfield. If Cushing does leave, who does New York City FC get as their new manager? Probably maybe Ronnie Dyla. Maybe Ronnie Dyla pairing. Yahoo Sports is saying that Tata Martino is leaving for personal reasons. Yeah, the personal reasons is that his ass was going to be the unemployment line. That's the personal reasons, right? Let's see. Fiorentina, I think, is where, I guess that's where he's saying that, or is it Florentins? Where is De Gea at? This is a big opportunity to make MLS a bigger league. In case that Xavi and MSN will make Miami the most hated team in the league. They like that, though. That's what they want. Okay, yeah, so De Gea is in Fiorentina. Okay. Griezmann will be a good attacking midfielder, and Ramos will be a good center back. Yeah, but Griezmann's going to LAFC. Miami is already hated. Jaden, yeah, they are. Unemployment. Yeah, that's his personal reason, unemployment line. Okay, final question. How long do you think Messi has? I think Messi will be here through 2026, especially if they hire someone like Xavi to keep them in, to keep his interest peaked and have a coach that he respects. I think he will stay until 2026, and he will leave after the 2026 season. And they need him to stay as long as he can. They really do. Do you think Tata will go to another MLS team? I don't think so. I think Tata's coaching days may be over. I think his coaching days may be behind him, and it will be interesting to see. This is going to be. Hey, listen, here's the thing. This is the MLS Cup Playoffs. I know it's easy to forget. It's still going on right now because the 3-week break. The offseason is already crazy. Tata Martino fired. I mean, this is going to be a crazy, crazy, exciting offseason. I hope you guys are excited to see what happens, because there's going to be more content about what happens. And you best believe whenever they do decide who the next manager is, that we're going to do a live stream and a video about it. But it's crazy how exciting this offseason is, and the regular season isn't even over. Kevin Danke, the Togo striker from Belgium, is already been signed by Cincinnati. It's going to be a record transfer fee for him. So it's going to be an exciting offseason. I'm excited to see what happens. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to get me some food. How to do an emergency live stream with you guys, because this is some crazy news. Stay tuned for some more content. It's going to be a busy week from me. Make sure you like this video down below. Like I said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, listen, we are 375 subscribers away from 5,000. We're going to hit that number by MLS Cup Final Day. We're going to hit that number. We're gaining like crazy. The MLS Apple TV video did really good numbers. You guys are really supporting the channel, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys for your help. We're going to hit that 5,000 by MLS Cup Final Day. Make sure you share it with a friend. Let's grow the audience. MLS Moves is here to stay. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. Appreciate you guys for what you do. Until next time, I will see you all soon.